Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
This is definitely the worst nightmare.
New tonight, a Missouri family frantically searching for their 22-year-old son. He's been missing since Friday after leaving a downtown Broadway bar.
Riley Strain, a University of Missouri student in town with his fraternity brothers. He got kicked out of Luke Bryan's bar off 3rd Avenue for being extremely drunk. This is all according to his friends. This is where he was kicked out. Strain said that he was walking back to his hotel several blocks away over here at the Tempo. However, instead it appears that he went in the wrong direction. Riley Strain's cell phone last pinged near Public Square. Was this close to the river? Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino has the story.
It's been a harrowing 3 days for Riley Strain's family. When they found out he was missing, they got into a car immediately and drove 6 hours here to Nashville from Missouri in order to help find him. Now, I can tell you, any last trace of Riley was right here in this area, in the Public Square Park area. And I can tell you it's very close to Gay Street behind us, and then beyond that, the river.
This is definitely the worst nightmare. Riley talks to us, whether it's me or to his mom. He talks to his mom 3 or 4 times a day. I mean, it's for him to go this long without talking is not normal by any means.
It's a voice Michelle Whited and her husband would give anything to hear right now.
I mean the world. We need him back.
He's my baby. Her only son, Riley, a senior finance major at the University of Missouri, has been missing for the past 3 days since getting asked to leave Luke Bryan's bar around 9:45 Friday night.
The bartender said that he'd been overserved. He was trying to pay his tab.
Riley's stepfather, Chris Whited, says Riley spoke on the phone to his fraternity brothers after walking out of the bar, saying he was going back to the Tempo Hotel about 5 blocks away. But Riley appears to have gone in the opposite direction, his cell phone last pinging here in the Public Square Park area near Gay Street and close to the river. At about 10 to 10:30 p.m., Riley's phone registered on the Life 360 app, Snapchat, and from Verizon's tower, all in this specific area. But then nothing has been heard from Riley since for the past 3 days.
We just want to find him. We want to be able to take him home.
Riley's family arriving by Saturday morning after his friends on the trip realized he wasn't back at the hotel. Metro Police and Riley's relatives combing nearby streets, parking garages, hospitals, the river, and putting out a massive alert on social media for the young man who stands an unmistakable 6 feet 7 inches tall.
Riley's going to tower and stand out in a crowd anyways. He's got a big personality. Doesn't really know a stranger.
Please, if you know anything, please call the police. Please.
Metro Police launched the helicopter today to help search for Riley overhead. They're also working on looking at any and all surveillance video from downtown and this surrounding area. Riley's family also telling me they're waiting on court documents to go through so they can get access to Riley's Apple Watch as well as his bank card transactions. Anyone who might have seen Riley should please call Metro Police immediately. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
It's a neighborhood staple.
An East Nashville woman tonight is suing the restaurant and meat market next to her home because she can't stand the smell of grilled meats. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live now at Roy Meat Service on 19th Street South near Shelby Park with this unusual story.
Yes, well, the Roy family has owned this meat business right behind me for over a decade now. But last January, one of their neighbors decided to sue them. And now the family says that this lawsuit has cost them more than $20,000, and now they need some help. Janice McCormick has been a customer at Roy Meat Service for years, and her heart goes out to the family and its legal battle.
And I think it's very unfair to them to have to do that. You know, they've had this business, they do things for the community, and for people to just come in and put them through that is just wrong.
The case summary identifies the complainant as Natalie Castillo, I tried to talk to her, but she deferred me to her attorney. A GoFundMe page set up for the Roys says she started complaining about the smell of meat back in June of 2021, about a year and a half before the lawsuit.
I'm a small business owner myself, so my heart's out for them. I mean, that's probably a lot of stress, emotional and financial, so I fully support them in what they're doing.
Fox 17 News asked the owner, Jeff Roy, to do an interview, but he declined because of the pending lawsuit. This is Caitlin Miller calling with Fox 17 News. We also reached out to his attorney, Ed Castillos. So far, no response. Meanwhile, at least one of the close neighbors is backing Roy's with this sign, calling the place a treasure.
It's a neighborhood staple.
And more than $28,000 has been raised in support of this small business. People in this neighborhood tell me that Roy's is one of the only true local spots left in this community, so they're really hoping to help save it. As for the lawsuit, we'll keep you posted as we hear more. Reporting live from East Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Does that shock you that there was an armed robbery in this area?
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, repeat offenders arrested over the weekend in connection to a South Nashville robbery in broad daylight. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker has the report downtown.
Police say 27-year-old Juliet Shields and 19-year-old Shamarian Shield robbed a man at gunpoint late Saturday afternoon. Now keep in mind they have a lengthy criminal record. I have over 30 pages in my hands here with charges dating back several years. Nashville police arrested these men over the weekend after police say they held a man at gunpoint in the parking lot of an apartment complex off Twin Oaks Drive. Now police say the suspects fled with the victims' belongings. Does that shock you that there was an armed robbery in this area?
No, not at all. I've lived in this neighborhood off and on since 2019, and it's all kinds of stuff going on here all the time.
When did it get worse?
It never got better.
Milton Reese Jr. says he only leaves his home to walk his dogs. Reese says he keeps his head on a swivel as is and is frustrated to learn about the recent robbery.
Do I have to come out armed? You know what I mean? I don't want it to come to that. So now my freedom somewhat is gone. I'm not free. I can't walk up and down this road now wondering, is somebody going to come up behind me or drive up on me?
As for the robbery suspects, criminal records show they're no stranger to crime. Juliet Shields has charges going back several years, including aggravated robbery, where courts convicted and sentenced him on many of those. And police say Shamarian Shields was free on $36,000 bond for aggravated assault and unlawful possession of a handgun at the time of his arrest.
Does that person have a record? If they do, and they've been before the court numerous times, that tells the whole story. That's their normal, and until they have an intervention, it's going to continue.
Hoping to see changes in the bond system, Verna Wyatt, the co-founder of Tennessee Voices for Victims, says letting a repeat offender out on low bond or no bond gives criminals the opportunity to prey on more innocent people. Both men are being held on a $75,000 bond. Julius is due in court tomorrow morning. We'll have our crews there on his current aggravated robbery charge. We're also trying to have a sit-down interview with the DA's office about these lengthy records. We'll let you guys know if we end up getting that interview. For now, in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, let's talk about your weather. I saw you on the way home tonight. You could have almost rolled down the window.
No kidding.
It was nice today, a little cool compared to where we've been in the past, let's say 7 days, and what we're going to see moving forward. But it was nice. Yeah.
Tolerable, yeah.
Not too bad. Tonight's going to be a bit on the frosty side. For tomorrow morning, I think we bottom out in the mid to upper 30s area-wide. Will lead to some patchy frost, especially with the drier air, the clear sky, and light winds that we have in play for tonight. So overnight lows should drop down to about 37 here in Nashville, 33 possibly in Murfreesboro, Cookeville, Crossville in those mid to lower 30s. Again, low-lying areas would be the area that we see some of the patchy frost. Live look downtown, pretty lively for a Monday evening on Broadway. Again, temperatures not too bad, sitting in the low 50s at this moment, and that's allowing for a pretty nice night, as well as the radar. Radar is quiet and will stay that way for the next couple of days. We've got a pretty nice few days ahead here. It'll definitely be feeling more like spring. So tomorrow morning here, we'll start around 35 degrees, sunrise 7:02, a little later now with daylight saving time behind us. 37 our temperature by 8, and we're up to 42 by 9 with mainly sunny skies. We'll talk more about temperatures for the week ahead, when we could see 80 degrees, and looking ahead to our next good chance for rain, all coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
A Wilson County woman who says her TV was stolen by a delivery driver. She says,
hurry into the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event.
Get a low $232 per month lease on Sentra, or get 0% financing for 36 months on select 2023 and 2024 vehicle trims.
I open the door and I go outside and there's nothing. And I went into my room and I just boohoo cried because I was like, why would this happen to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this?
An update tonight on a story that we first told you about last week involving a Wilson County woman who had a new television stolen right off her porch, and she says by the men who deliver it.
Well, now her Ring doorbell camera actually caught them in the act. And as Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar shows us, after our story aired late last week, Walmart, where she bought the TV, agreed to give her another.
she says it was all caught on this Ring camera in front of her Old Hickory home. She tells me after she reviewed the video, she realized that a delivery driver and another man stole her Walmart TV right here. She says since our story aired, Walmart has decided to issue her a refund on the TV and even give her a $100 gift card. She says she decided to get the refund because Walmart told her they'd be using a random delivery service again, and she just doesn't trust it. That's what she says got her into this mess in the first place. Rhodey is a subsidiary of UPS that helped get her TV delivered. They tell Fox 17 News that they have since opened an investigation on the matter, and she is now smiling about the whole situation.
The whole situation was just funny after you think about it. I had a friend tell me, he was like, you know, this is actually pretty genius. And I was like, yeah, it's genius. You just got to make sure you don't get caught by cameras or, you know, whatever. And so we were kind of laughing about that.
But even though she is smiling, she tells me she hopes that this doesn't happen to anybody else. So I reached out to Walmart to ask them what their plan is to make sure it doesn't. Reporting in Old Hickory, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Very nice sunny day today. Katie, give us more of the same?
Yeah, next couple of days I think are looking really good. Very spring-like.
Okay, until Friday.
Until Friday.
And a lot of people are on spring break right now, including on metro schools.
Was it just me, or did it seem a little lighter on the roads today?
I think maybe Williamson County too, and that's why probably.
I don't think anyone's complaining about that.
No one's complaining about that, that's for sure. A live look here from our South Nashville camera. Things are looking nice for tonight. A little frosty as we head through tomorrow morning as temperatures slip into the mid to upper 30s generally area-wide. Other than that, really not looking bad at all, and feeling spring-like with temperatures climbing to about 80 as we head towards Thursday of this week. So the first few days of the week looking great. Temperature will be around 51 at 10. Mainly sunny skies, up to about 66 by 2. A couple clouds will be around as we head later in the afternoon hours, but temperatures will continue to climb closer to 70 as we head into the later half of the afternoon. We take a look here. Our rain chance for the week ahead will be on Friday. The possibility of a few showers and thunderstorms will be around for Thursday afternoon, but should be fairly isolated. The best day is going to be Thursday night into Friday, tracking a good chance for showers around the area here. Saturday and Sunday, a few pop-up showers possible, possibly looking at, depending on the way the models trend, at another chance for rain coming in on Sunday, but for now keeping that chance on the low end. As we take a look at tonight and into tomorrow morning, we walk you through temperatures through tomorrow. We'll be in those upper 30s to around 40 or so here in Nashville. A little cooler outside of city centers, and that's going to be where we have the best chance, I think, at some patchy frost for tomorrow. Notice that we keep clouds away for much of the day. Temperatures on the other hand, climb to about 70 here in town. Dickson, Columbia around 68 degrees. Murfreesboro close to 70 as well. And Clarksville right around 68 with mainly sunny skies. In early Wednesday morning, a few more clouds trying to work their way into the area here. And Wednesday trying to advertise a stray shower. This is going to be a very brief period in time, which is why I'm keeping most of Wednesday dry. But very early Wednesday in our northwestern counties, maybe a stray shower early. Other than that, we'll look at partly sunny skies for the afternoon. It will be Thursday night that we see the better chance for showers. Few isolated pockets for rain throughout the day on Thursday, but the better rain chance comes in late Thursday night. This is Thursday 9 p.m. This will be along a front, and the majority of rain here will spill in early Friday morning. Can't discount the potential for a few rumbles of thunder, maybe even a few stronger storms with gusts up to 30-45 miles per hour. For now, I would say our severe weather threat remains pretty low, and that's the way it should stay. But a few stronger storms in that 40-mile-per-hour range as far as winds go will be possible. Main story here is some pretty decent rainfall. That'll happen Friday morning. This is by 8 a.m. and then notice through the afternoon we start to dry out from west to east with a few lingering showers through the afternoon. We'll talk how much rain we could see out of this batch coming in for Friday. That a little later in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Scott.
Thanks, Katie. Also ahead, the Derrick Henry era in Nashville appears to be over. The Cowboys running back, the Titans have reportedly come to terms with.
New poll.
Pilot has the resources you need to start the conversation.
Hey, can we talk?
Visit Tennessee Won't Be Silent or call 988 for immediate help.
New tonight, Tennessee Titans reportedly moving on from star running back Derrick Henry.
The Associated Press says the Titans have come to terms with ex-Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Pollard. While no deal can officially be made until Wednesday, an AP source says Pollard and the Titans agreed today to a 3-year deal worth $24 million. Pollard ran more than 1,000 yards last season and scored 6 touchdowns. The Titans drafted Henry back in 2016, and this will be his first time entering free agency.
Well, this story's obviously a talker, and we want to know what you think. Is Tony Pollard, who grew up in Memphis and played his college ball there, a good signing for the Titans? So far, 222 people have weighed in, and the numbers look good. 68% of our viewers think this is a good signing for the Titans. 32% say no. Polls live right now to cast your vote. Scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen with your smartphone. It'll take you to our X page. Our handle is @Fox Nashville, and we will update these results for you later in the newscast.
President Biden's budget requests for Congress today painting an optimistic picture, and a new poll shows Americans are feeling better about the economy as well. Fox 17 News' Atra Al-Nashar has the story, and by the way, you can vote on this issue. Just scan the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this.
When it comes to the economy, there's a disconnect between how it's doing on paper.
It's hard to fight it, and we don't really see anything getting in the way of the positive momentum.
And what polls tell us about how people feel.
We're still paying extremely high prices, sometimes 3 or 4 times what we used to pay.
Americans say their financial situations are improving, according to monthly nationwide surveys by the Financial Times and University of Michigan. But when it comes to meeting personal expenses, more say they're surviving than thriving. Views of the overall economy also improving, but still far more negative than positive. And that matters in this election cycle. 57% of surveyed voters say economic issues like jobs and the cost of living are the most important issues when deciding their pick for president.
It's President Biden's highest priority to relieve some of those burdens. But since the pandemic, the average American household is better off.
Some of the president's closest advisors acknowledging the pain that many Americans are going through. Tom Perez, former DNC chair, now senior advisor to the president, says, "We recognize we still have a heck of a lot of work to do." On the campaign trail, the president highlighting the work that's already been done.
I inherited an economy that was on the brink, Now our economy is the envy of the world.
An economy inherited from former President Trump, now recovered from the pandemic recession with the strongest job market in decades. But more voters say they trust Trump to handle the economy. which Trump allies are seizing on.
And we went from stable prices to record inflation.
But both Biden and Trump have work to do. 20% trust neither candidate. Another indication this election could be decided by voters who don't want to see a repeat of either administration, but may eventually pick a side. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atra Al-Najjar reporting.
Now, during this story, we had a QR code on the screen linking our viewers to a poll asking who you trust more to handle the economy, President Biden or former President Donald Trump. 975 people weighing in, so a lot of people wanted to talk about this. 81.1% say former President Trump is who we trust to handle the economy, and that is conversely with 18.9% saying they think President Biden is doing the best job on that front. We want to thank all the people who took time to cast a vote.
Still to come, a call for change. Who some lawmakers want to put in charge of sexual harassment claims that matters most.
Your family.
That's right. U.S. Best.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Covering the Capitol tonight, a bill that would put the state attorney general in charge of sexual harassment complaints at the legislature.
Now, it would be a big change because right now these complaints are investigated essentially by members of the House and Senate, and critics say they really need to take politics out of the process. Now, this bill is sponsored by a rare combination of House lawmakers, Republican Representative Todd Warner of Chapel Hill and Democrat Afton Bain of Nashville. They want to appoint an impartial liaison to the AG's office to handle claims like this from start to finish.
The bill will create transparency. It would create a fair process for the accused, but most of all, it will protect the victim.
This is a crucial step that is driven by a shared commitment to ensuring a transparent and impartial review process free from the influence of legislative leadership.
Now, last year, you may remember State Representative Scotty Campbell of Mountain City resigned after a couple of interns accused him of sexual harassment. The investigation done in secret, and members of the House and Senate involved were not allowed to comment on their deliberations.
New tonight, a mid-state father accusing Rutherford County schools of discriminatory practices after asking Laverne High School to allow his son to wear a feather on his cap during graduation. But the request to honor his Native American heritage and religion went unanswered for weeks.
Stephen White Eagle spoke on behalf of his son, a senior at Laverne High School.
I'm here today to address the board regarding a matter of discrimination that has taken place against my son. My son is a senior and graduating this year, and has been told by the Laverne High School administrative staff and by certain administration at the district that he is not allowed to wear his eagle feather with his cap at graduation. My son and I have been told that his religious beliefs do not fit into the school's policy, and that is unfair and unconstitutional.
Mr. White Eagle says his family has deep Native American roots and belong to a federally recognized tribe. The feather, he says, is a symbol of honor, power, truth, and wisdom, and a connection to God, our Creator. Mr. White Eagle made a simple request, asking that his son be able to wear the feather as part of his cap and gown ensemble at graduation.
Unless you're going to tell all students, that includes the girl who wears the hijab or the Jewish boy that wears the yarmulke, that their religious items are not permitted at graduation, then my son should be allowed to wear his religious item. Feathers are given in times of great honor. For Native young people, receiving an eagle feather is just as significant as earning their diploma.
When the board revisited the issue,
this is something that we don't need to mess around with. He needs to be able to wear that, and I'm sorry that it got to this point that someone did not reach out to someone else.
The motion is to allow the young man to wear the eagle feather on his cap. We will take a roll call vote.
Motion passes.
A Rutherford County spokesperson admitted this has been a conversation that spanned over the last couple of weeks with no definitive answers given, and the school board's legal team recommended approving the request.
Continuing coverage now on a bill downtown that would eliminate a state business tax and allow companies to get nearly $2 billion in refunds. Tonight, Democrats say they've got a better plan that wouldn't cost taxpayers a dime, and they're calling on Governor Lee to disclose how much his Lee company would get under the administration's bill. Right now, Tennessee companies pay a yearly tax on their net worth or the value of the property they own here, whichever is greater. Governor Lee wants to get rid of the property part, saying there's a potential conflict with the Commerce Clause in the U.S. Constitution, and a legal challenge could cost the state big.
The working families of Tennessee deserve to know whether or not Governor Bill Lee and his company or companies stand to financially benefit from his proposed franchise tax cut.
State and Senate Democrats call it an unprecedented corporate handout and demand to know if Governor Lee and his heating and air operation, Lee Company, would get money back, and if so, how much. Beyond that, they say the administration's bill, which calls for a franchise tax refund dating back 3 years, is unnecessary. They say if a conflict arises because of a company being taxed on the value of its property here and in another state, we can offer a credit. No harm, no foul.
The tax credit would solve the exact same problem that the Lee administration is trying to solve, but it would solve it for $2 billion less. And that's just this year.
Democrats say they've consulted with tax lawyers, the Revenue Department, and the State Attorney General, and their reasoning is sound. The administration argues we have more potential exposure every year, and it's time to cut bait.
Without legislation, the amount at issue increases by up to $400 million every year while the case is working its way through the court system.
Now, when he was elected, Governor Bill Lee says he placed all of his business holdings in a blind trust to avoid conflicts or even the appearance of, and that he has no knowledge of his company's operations these days or business decisions. He's not even allowed to ask. Senate Finance Committee set to vote on this franchise tax bill tomorrow.
Slightly cool today, although still comfortable for the afternoon. We head into the overnight with clear skies around, and that'll put us back into the mid-30s by tomorrow morning. Things are looking very quiet, though, on radar really across a lot of real estate. 2/3 of the country. We've got some snow showers up in New England and then some snow showers in the mountains out west, along with some rain in California, Nevada, and into Washington and Oregon. Things remain pretty quiet, though, for tomorrow morning with that clear sky around. That'll put us around 35 for tomorrow. This is our temperature at 7. Nashville, Clarksville around 35, 33 possible for Crossville. So again, patchy frost will be likely in those low-lying areas mainly, but quite chilly for the morning hours here. The good news is although seeing the sun rise a little later, we're getting the sunset a little later too. So tonight the sunset was at 6:51, April 1st at 7:09, and by May 1st we have that sun until 7:35 in the evening, and we'll continue to add to that as we get closer to, of course, the beginning of summer. We'll talk more about what the trend is showing for the end of March as far as temperatures and rain chances are concerned. It's in your Fox 17 Code Red.
Get a rate based on you with DriveWise and the Allstate app.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by U.S. Pest Protection.
This week on Full Measure, the head of a watchdog group describing what he sees as conflicts of interest at the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics.
Now, the show will air on Sunday morning, and Fox 17 News' Cheryl Atkinson is here to give us a preview.
We were able to obtain about 80,000 pages of internal documents of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is our nation's most influential nutrition group. They license about 110,000 nutrition professionals in the United States. What we found was that the Academy accepted about $15 million from companies and organizations, from ultra-processed food companies, from pharmaceutical companies, from agribusiness companies.
What is the basic problem you see with the idea that a nutrition group is accepting millions of dollars from industry groups?
So it's a conflict of interest in that, take a more recent example, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics last year took money from the National Confectioners Association and from Tate & Lyle, which is a big sugar company. And so at a time when our nation is struggling terribly with an epidemic of obesity and type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, it should never, ever accept money from companies who produce products that are causing harm.
When the group started, do you think it started without accepting money from industry, or is this something, and this is something that became more recent as the industry understood the usefulness? Or was it created with the idea in mind that maybe it would be this kind of a group?
So it's a great question, and I don't know the answer to it. I don't know the history from more than half a century ago. But there's no question that over the last, say, 25 years, there has been a kind of a slide into the corrupt swamps of taking money from the ultra-processed food industry. Also, I think there's been a rise in this sort of thing as the ultra-processed food industry has become emboldened and has tried to use its influence more and more, and we can see the effects of it in our waistlines and in the rates of diabetes and cardiovascular disease across the country.
How would you describe how large and powerful these industries are?
They're incredibly powerful. They have so many ways of affecting policy and affecting people, whether it's advertising or public relations or lobbying or campaign contributions. They're masters at pulling the strings, and our health shows it.
Well, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics says the watchdog group is misleading and that it has strict rules in place to make sure its corporate donations do not influence its policies and advice. You can watch Full Measure Sunday mornings at 7:30 right here on Fox 17.
Still ahead.
Call Bart Durham Injury Law at 615-242-9000 for a free case evaluation.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
This month, Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are supporting literacy efforts, and that's because of the more than 40 million American adults who can just barely read.
Well, a recent study by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation finds more than 80% believe youth literacy is the key to solving this problem. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin spoke with how the Dollar General Literacy Foundation is changing lives across the country.
By 2023, Abigail of Middle Tennessee began reading on her grade level, a 14-level increase from where she began. That's because she began participating in the YMCA Y Literacy program in 2019.
Literacy is so important and so powerful, right? There are very few gifts that you can give that last a lifetime, but literacy is one of them, and a great education. And if you want to have a great education, that begins with the ability to read well. That's the foundation of all other academic success.
That's just one example of how the Dollar General Literacy Foundation helps students learn to read, specifically by partnering with nonprofits all across the country. The foundation, started by Dollar General's co-founder, who was functionally illiterate, also supports schools and libraries and their efforts to increase access to literacy programming. So far, the foundation has invested more than $230 million in programs and has helped more than 20 million people of all ages.
When you open doorways that help people learn to read, bright futures happen, great things start to happen. And so there's a lot of power in literacy and education. So we hope other people will get as excited about it as we are and join in the movement.
But that's not all. The Dollar General Literacy Foundation teamed up with Discover Education and the National After School Association to create Discover Literacy, a program to support the development of literacy skills for children in kindergarten through second grade. The program offers teachers, students, and caregivers access to in-school and after-school digital resources at no cost.
It's going to take all of us to get our students to the grade level they need to be successful. It's going to take all of us equipping our teachers so that they can help their students be successful.
While the foundation has been able to put more than 2 million books into the hands of children across 16 states through Reading is Fundamental, the program is far from done. I'm Amanda Chan reporting for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, Fox 17 and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, partnering with Reading is Fundamental to supporting children's literacy. You can scan this QR code to donate to our virtual book drive.
Was dry today, and as we head into the next couple of afternoons, we maintain a nice dry forecast here. So taking a look, it's about that time to bring out the no wind to mow forecast. It's been pretty rainy the past several weeks, and that's good just because we ended 2023 in a drought. And so over the last several weeks, it's been good to see some of that erode, and now looking at some even squishy ground in some locations, just kind of depends on where you're at. So I've been out a few days. I came back and all of a sudden realized just how green the grass was out there. So it's that time of year. We'll have to start mowing the yard again. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday all looking good. Maybe a stray shower possible for Thursday, so spot showers will be around. The big rainmaker is going to come on Friday. This is looking at how much rain Future Track is painting we could see. Maybe a good 1-2 inches will be possible for us. This takes us through Friday night. Majority of this looks to happen Friday morning through midday, and then we begin to dry out. But anywhere between 1 to 2 inches of rain possible for us. It'll also depend on where some of those heavy pockets decide to set up. And as I mentioned earlier, it looks like right now the threat for severe weather remains pretty low. We'll keep you updated if that changes. March average high temperatures here. We are looking at about the 10th now as we head into the middle part of March. We're looking at about 61 for that average high. As we go into next week, we're looking at March 19th through the 25th, so middle to late part of next week. Below average temperatures look possible for us. That looks to be on par with what I'm seeing for the beginning of next week, mid to late next week here. I got to take off my daylight saving time. That happened already. But we do look at temperatures there on Monday around 52 degrees. It's going to be much cooler as we head through next week. So enjoy the warm weather. If you're just not ready for the hot weather, you got a little bit of cool weather to enjoy as we head through Monday and Tuesday into next week.
All right, Katie, thank you. Just ahead.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
Firefighters say e-bikes and other devices powered by lithium-ion batteries have become a serious risk to public safety with very little regulation.
Tonight, Spotlight on America's Chris Daniels shows us how this problem is growing across the country and whether government regulators are doing enough to keep us safe.
A rope rescue in New York, a blast in London, wreckage in Seattle, and a high-rise evacuation in the Bay Area all share one thing in common: fires caused by e-bikes and lithium-ion batteries.
So the fire was up in there.
Alec Bash lives in the Gateway Apartments in San Francisco.
Someone was charging lithium-ion batteries for a scooter or something.
Bash escaped the frightening fire, which ignited as quick as this demonstration. Electric bikes and scooters have exploded in popularity in more ways than one, and firefighters across the country say they're having difficulty keeping up with the flames often caused by third-party batteries and improper charging and storage. Even after the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission announced in 2022 it was clamping down because the issue had reached a crisis level. Months after that, a New York City fire in an e-bike repair shop killed 4 people and critically injured 2 others, thus making lithium-ion batteries a leading cause of fire deaths in the nation's largest city.
As we move down the table here,
across the country in Seattle, Fire Captain Matt Lujan has counted up the damage that has been inflicted in mere seconds.
Li batteries can go into thermal runaway when they are charged improperly. One of the worst things you can do is charge a battery with a charger that's not intended for it.
Leading his boss, Seattle Fire Chief Harold Scoggins, to suggest state and federal laws should be amended. Spotlight on America has tracked lithium-ion related fires from coast to coast. 268 related incidents in New York alone in 2023, resulting in 150 injuries and 18 deaths. Deadly fires in Pennsylvania and Virginia, others in rural and suburban areas. Yet there is no clear federal database tracking the problem. Back in San Francisco,
you've had multiple issues at this spot.
Yes, we've had multiple fires here. Because of batteries.
The fire marshal has urged the city to take its own action and alter fire codes on charging and storage.
A lithium-ion battery creates their own oxygen, and it's something that can't be put out with water. If you lose the building, you're going to lose the next building and the next one, and so we have to be really aggressive.
It was a really hectic time for everybody.
Bash, who has now lived near 2 of these fires, thinks change is needed too before the next scooter scare. In San Francisco, I'm Chris Daniels for Spotlight on America.
After the break, a new move to make
Rate for you is a rate based on you, not one based on whatever this person is doing. Get a rate based on you with DriveWise and the Allstate app.
In your community, 7 new Tennessee state parks getting these all-new terrain wheelchairs. They make it easier for people with mobility issues to enjoy more areas of the parks. Those additional parks include Natchez Trace, Cummins Falls, and Long Hunter State Parks here in the Mid-State. Those special wheelchairs are available to check out. The announcement comes as Tennessee marks Disability Advocacy Day.
Is President Biden losing support among women voters? I'm Christine Frizzell with why that question is all of a sudden looming large in the 2024 presidential race.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
I'm a small business owner myself, so my heart's out for them.
An East Nashville woman suing the restaurant and market next to her home. She calls it a nuisance because she can't stand the smell of grilled meats.
Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live now at the Roy Meat Service on South 19th Street near Shelby Park with the backstory on all this.
Yes, well, the community is coming together to back this meat business right behind me after it's cost the family more than $20,000 for this lawsuit just so far. Now, the Roy family has owned this business for about a decade, and the neighbors sued them last January. The case summary identifies the complainant as Natalie Castillo. I tried to talk to her, but she deferred me to her attorney. A GoFundMe page set up for the Roys says that she started complaining about the smell of meat back in June of 2021, about a year and a half before the lawsuit.
It's a neighborhood staple. I mean, it's been here for a long time, and our neighbors love it. We love it, and a lot of those businesses are leaving neighborhoods, and we just don't want that to happen here.
The close neighbors are backing Roy's with this sign saying the place is a treasure. Now, the GoFundMe has already raised more than $28,000 for the Roy family and their small business. Reporting live from East Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. New tonight, a Missouri family is frantically searching for their 22-year-old son, a college student who was in Nashville with friends and has not been seen since leaving a downtown Broadway bar back on Friday. Riley Strain left Luke Bryan's place on 3rd Avenue drunk, according to his friends. Strain said he was walking back to their hotel several blocks away, but it appears he went the wrong direction. His cell phone last pinged near Public Square Park by the Metro Courthouse, close to the river around Woodland and Gay Streets. Metro police are now working on getting surveillance videos from that area. Riley Strain is 6 feet 7 inches tall. If you have seen him, call Metro Police.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, the South Nashville neighborhood is on edge after an armed robbery in broad daylight over the weekend. Nashville police arresting 27-year-old Juliet Shields and 19-year-old Shamarian Shields later Saturday afternoon after police say that they held a man at gunpoint in the parking lot of an apartment complex off Twin Oaks Drive. Police say they took off with the victim's belongings. The two men have a lengthy criminal record. Juliet Shields has records dating back several years, including prior aggravated robbery charges where he was found guilty. Shamarian free on a $36,000 bond on other charges at the time of this new arrest. Now, Vernon Wyatt with Voices for Victims wants to see changes to the bond system.
Does that person have a record? If they do, and they've been before the court numerous times, that tells the whole story. That's their normal, and until they have an intervention, it's going to continue.
Both men are being held on a $75,000 bond. Julius is due in court tomorrow morning. Fox 17 News crews plan to be there.
In sports, Tennessee Titans are apparently moving on from longtime star running back Derrick Henry. The Associated Press reports the team has come to terms with former Cowboys running back Tony Pollard. Now, they can't They can't officially sign him until Wednesday, but an AP source reports Pollard and the Titans agreed today to a $24 million contract over 3 years. Pollard ran for more than 1,000 yards last season, scored 6 touchdowns. Henry, who was a second-round pick for the Titans back in 2016, is now a free agent for the very first time.
A nice cool afternoon. Temperatures in those low 60s for today. 62 was our high, and that's actually right where we should be for this time of year. Lots of folks out on Broadway this evening boy, enjoying a nice cool night. Temperatures currently sitting in those upper 40s here in Nashville, right around 48. 46 in Murfreesboro and mid to lower 40s out towards Cookeville, and even some upper 30s already for Clarksville. Expecting a frosty evening here. Temperatures will drop back into those mid to upper 30s, which will lead to some patchy frost, mainly in low-lying areas. So we take a look at your forecast for tonight here. Those lows dropping back to mid to lower 30s out towards Clarksville and Cookeville. Nashville around 37 degrees. And Clarksville right around 35. Clear skies, light winds, perfect recipe for some of that frost to develop and really to get a nice cold, crisp start to the morning. Coming up, we will talk about spring-like weather, how long we will see temperatures well above average. In fact, when we could be looking at a high near 80, and talking about our next good chance for rain. It's all in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
In my spot.
The Big Bang Theory.
Tomorrow at 6 on Fox 17. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
Covering the U.S. Capitol tonight, renewed questions about President Biden's age and his competence. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins here to show us how Mr. Biden is responding.
Special counsel Robert Hur will testify before Congress Tuesday, his first chance to publicly address the decision to not recommend prosecuting President Biden for mishandling classified documents. Biden's age is expected to be a top topic. In the final report, Hur describing Biden's memory as significantly limited, fuzzy, and faulty, and said Biden couldn't remember when his son Beau died. A key reason he didn't charge Biden was because, Hur wrote, a jury might view Biden as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
But
Age concerns increasingly threatening Biden's re-election campaign. A recent New York Times Siena College poll shows the majority of Americans who voted for Biden in 2020 now say he's too old to be effective. Attempting to address these apprehensions, the president releasing a new ad.
Look, I'm not a young guy. That's no secret.
Biden's allies voicing strong support.
President Joe Biden had an incredible State of the Union address. He was strong, he was serious.
Meanwhile, a super PAC aligned with Donald Trump releasing this dark attack ad.
We can all see Joe Biden's weakness. If Biden wins, can he even survive till 2029?
The RNC posting a string of apparent gaffes by Biden, like one where he seems to refer to himself as the vice president instead of president.
The most diverse cabinet administration in American history, led by a vice president.
Meanwhile, House Republicans are still reportedly waiting for the Justice Department to hand over all of the documents and recordings they requested in connection to Robert Hur's investigation into the president. Some materials were handed over last week. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
In national news, top intelligence leaders were on Capitol Hill today briefing senators. The directors of national intelligence, the FBI and the CIA, laid out the worldwide threats assessment. They addressed their unclassified findings and gave perspective on some of the big areas of concern, like China, AI, and ransomware attacks, as well as Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. They highlighted the need for continued funding to help Kyiv to limit Russia's push, but also show a united front.
We're seen to be walking away from support for Ukraine. Not only is that going to feed doubts amongst our allies and partners in the Indo-Pacific, it's going to stoke the ambitions of the Chinese leadership in contingencies ranging from Taiwan to the South China Sea. The Ukrainians are not running out of courage and tenacity. They're running out of ammunition and we're running out of time to help them.
Burns also spoke about the conflict in Gaza. The hearing today was interrupted several times by protesters chanting about civilian deaths. Burns says people are dying as a result of humanitarian aid not getting in. He did not put the blame on Israel.
Is President Biden losing support among women voters? I'm Christine Frizzell with why that question is all of a sudden looming large in the 2024 presidential race.
Choose us for your electrical repairs and installations. You're investing in your home and Nashville's community.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
The House is expected to vote this week on legislation that could lead to a nationwide ban on TikTok. The House Energy and Commerce Committee moving forward with the legislation on Thursday that would give TikTok's Chinese-based parent company ByteDance 165 days to sell the company. Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary suggests he may buy the platform if the ban goes through.
What I'm proposing is purchasing these assets into a new American company. I'll guarantee it becomes safe for the users, the parents, small business and large business. It'll be an American company.
Cosmetic company The Body Shop is closing down all of its operations in the U.S. after filing for bankruptcy. The company is also closing dozens of Canadian locations. Officials with The Body Shop say it is currently in a restructuring phase. Its premiere, the 2023 film starring Chris Pratt as Mario, has grossed more than $574 million in the U.S. and Canada.
Earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll tonight, asking if you think former Cowboys running back Tony Pollard is a good signing for the Tennessee Titans. We're up to 236 votes, and very nearly 68% say yes. Our thanks to all who voted tonight. We'll have a new poll for you tomorrow night.
In politics, with the presidential campaign in full swing, one group of voters a target of both campaigns.
That's right, as Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell shows us, while Donald Trump lost women voters by double digits back in 2020, new polls suggest there is an opening.
President Joe Biden taking his message on the road.
I'm Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband.
To the battleground states of Georgia and Pennsylvania.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans are trying to take away our freedoms. That's not an exaggeration. Well, guess what? We will not let him.
Following the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision that overturned Roe v. Wade, reproductive rights was already a centerpiece of his campaign. Perhaps now more so, with Biden losing support in key voting blocs, including women, with a recent New York Times Siena poll finding just 18% said Biden's policies have helped them personally, compared to 39% who said Trump's did.
Regulate guns, not women.
Suburban women are credited with helping Biden win in 2020. Supporters wishing to win them back.
If you believe that women have a right to control their own bodies, you got to vote for President Biden.
He took action to finally let Medicare negotiate prescription drug prices over the objection of Big Pharma and congressional Republicans. He took action to make sure that that we have a stronger economy, which is why more jobs have been created on his watch than any president in American history.
Republicans painting a very different picture of the United States under Biden.
Right now, under Joe Biden, we are a nation in decline.
They're putting forth women like Laura Trump, who will co-chair the RNC, and Alabama Senator Katie Britt, hoping for a pivot.
Right now, the American dream has turned into a nightmare.
Britt's response to President Biden's State of the Union from her kitchen.
Republicans care about kitchen table issues. We care about faith, family. We care about freedom. We are the ones talking about the economy and the real effects of that.
In the 2020 election with the same two candidates, Joe Biden won women voters by 11 points over Donald Trump. A recent New York Times poll showed the two men are now tied for women voters. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Comfortable today, and we're looking at some pretty nice weather as we look ahead to the next few afternoons. Warmer weather, in fact, as we head into tomorrow. Temperatures will be near 70 degrees for Tuesday. As we head into Wednesday, closer to 75 and then 80 by Thursday. Tomorrow, beautiful weather here, mainly sunny skies. Do think it'll be one of our more sunny days of the week. Temperature right around 51, that at 10 o'clock in the morning, and should climb into those mid to upper 60s as we head towards 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Possible that we could touch 70 for tomorrow if we get enough of that sunshine early on. Rain chances remain pretty slim through Wednesday. We get into Thursday, a few pockets of rain will be possible, but overall it's looking like the overall best chance for showers and thunderstorms will come in Thursday night into Friday morning. And that will be our best chance for rain for the week. This weekend, a few pop-up showers on Saturday, and right now keeping chances small, but the possibility of a few showers and thunderstorms coming in on Sunday will be around. We'll keep that chance small for now, but may need to increase it a little bit as we head towards the weekend. So let's walk you through the overnight. Temperatures slipping into those upper 30s to around 40 here in Nashville. Outside of city centers, could see those temperatures drop into the mid 30s. This by 7 o'clock. Then we warm to the upper 60s, close to 70 for the afternoon. Note too that we don't have a lot of cloud cover around for tomorrow, so we'll keep skies mainly sunny. More clouds starting to roll in late Tuesday night and into early Wednesday. Wednesday morning, Future Track is trying to advertise a few light showers in our northwestern counties, maybe touching part of our viewing area, Trigg County, Christian County, and southern Kentucky. Should be pretty quick. Most of us stay dry through the day on Wednesday with a partly cloudy sky. Again, those better rain chances will arrive for Thursday. So we walk you through Thursday morning. You can see that we're trying to bring in a few showers early on. Should be spotty at best. The overall best chance for rain won't come in until Thursday evening. This is at 9 p.m. We'll be along a front and will bring us a pretty decent amount of rainfall. Right now, maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain could be possible, and a lot of this looks to come in early Friday morning. So a morning commute rain for us here. Severe weather chances remain pretty low. I'm not really all excited, or at least looking like that we're going to see a big chance for some bigger thunderstorms. We may have 1 or 2 that produce a 30 or 40 mile per hour wind gust. But overall, I would say our severe weather threat remains low, which is great news. So hopefully we won't be dealing with that, more just some heavy rainfall for the morning hours with, again, 1 to 2 inches possible. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 70s, the story all the way through the week here. We do cool down. It is looking like some cooler numbers going into next week. In fact, starting off next Monday, 52 degrees.
Uncovering compromise, why one watchdog.
Jets, better because it has to be.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Preds.
This week on Full Measure on Sunday, Cheryl Atkinson sat down with the head of a watchdog group to talk about potential conflict of interest that could put you and your family's health at risk.
Police concerned with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which teaches and advises professionals and students. Here's part of Cheryl's interview with Gary Ruskin.
We were able to obtain about 80,000 pages of internal documents of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is our nation's most influential nutrition group. They license about 110,000 nutrition professionals in the United States. What we found was that the Academy accepted about $15 million from companies and organizations, from ultra-processed food companies, from pharmaceutical companies, from agribusiness companies.
What is the basic problem you see with the idea that a nutrition group is accepting millions of dollars from industry groups?
So it's a conflict of interest in that, take a more recent example, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics last year took money from the National Confectioners Association and from Tate & Lyle, which is a big sugar company. And so at a time when our nation is struggling terribly with an epidemic of obesity and type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, it should never, ever accept money from companies who produce products that are causing harm.
When the group started, do you think it started without accepting money from industry, or is this something, and this is something that became more recent as the industry understood the usefulness Or was it created with the idea in mind that maybe it would be this kind of a group?
So it's a great question, and I don't know the answer to it. I don't know the history from more than half a century ago, but there's no question that over the last, say, 25 years, there has been a kind of a slide into the corrupt swamps of taking money from the ultra-processed food industry. Also, I think there's been a rise in this sort of thing as the ultra-processed food industry has become emboldened and has tried to use its influence more and more, and we can see the effects of it in our waistlines and in the rates of diabetes and cardiovascular disease across the country.
How would you describe how large and powerful these industries are?
They're incredibly powerful. They have so many ways of affecting policy and affecting people, whether it's advertising or public relations or lobbying or campaign contributions. They're masters at pulling the strings, and our health shows it.
Now, the Academy denies any conflict and says it has strict policy separating corporate donations from policy and recommendations. You can see Cheryl's full story on this topic at fullmeasure.news and watch new episodes of Full Measure every Sunday morning at 7:30 here on Fox 17.
Well, proofreading really is fundamental. The lasting impact of the Dollar General's Corporation's Literary Foundation.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover, and we're tracking the top stories for your Tuesday morning, including a new study showing African Americans are twice as likely to get Alzheimer's than white Americans. How you can help lower that number Tuesday.
And the insurance company are not concerned with the victim. I was worried about being able to pay my bills. I enjoyed you representing me because I knew I had to have the best.
This month, Fox 17 and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are supporting literacy efforts, and that's because 43 million adults in this country either can't read at all or barely can.
Well, a recent study finds 80% of people believe improving youth literacy is the answer. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin telling us about the impact of Dollar General Corporation's Literacy Foundation.
By 2023, Abigail of Middle Tennessee began reading on her grade level, a 14-level increase from where she began. That's because she began participating in the YMCA Y Literacy program in 2019.
Literacy is so important and so powerful, right? There are very few gifts that you can give that last a lifetime, but literacy is one of them, and a great education. And if you want to have a great education, that begins with the ability to read well. That's the foundation of all other academic success.
That's just one example of how the Dollar General Literacy Foundation helps students learn to read, specifically by partnering with nonprofits all across the country. The foundation, started by Dollar General's co-founder, who was functionally illiterate, also supports schools and libraries and their efforts to increase access to literacy programming. So far, the foundation has invested more than $230 million in programs and has helped more than 20 million people of all ages.
When you open doorways that help people learn to read, bright futures happen, great things start to happen. And so there's a lot of power in literacy and education. So we hope other people will get as excited about it as we are and join in the movement.
But that's not all. The Dollar General Literacy Foundation teamed up with Discover Education and the National After School Association to create Discover Literacy, a program to support the development of literacy skills for children in kindergarten through second grade. The program offers teachers, students, and caregivers access to in-school and after-school digital resources at no cost.
It's going to take all of us to get our students to the grade level they need to be successful. It's going to take all of us equipping our teachers so that they can help their students be successful.
While the foundation has been able to put more than 2 million books into the hands of children across 16 states through Reading is Fundamental, the program is far from done. I'm Amanda Chan reporting for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Almost 2/3 of fourth graders here in the U.S. struggle to read at grade level. That's why Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, partnering with Reading is Fundamental to support children's literacy. You can scan the QR code there on your screen to donate to our virtual book drive.
And temperatures near 70 are fundamental for my happiness.
In the next few days, I think Scott Couch, I'm forecasting Scott Couch will be very happy.
There you go. Okay,
there it is. Mid-70s on Wednesday and Thursday. We should be near 80 degrees. And looking at the weekend to be rainy, at least for